What is going on, guys? It's Shin here from CZeroMedia. In today's episode, I am excited to finally start the Evo 10 GSR build series. You guys, also in the previous episode, I went ahead and picked up a used 4B11 long block. The engine, when it came out of the car, only had 70,000 miles, and it had good compression across the board at 150 psi. And the previous owner was a female owner who kept up to date with the car at the dealership. As you will see later in the video, the 4B11 engine I picked up still has Mitsubishi oil filter, which is a good sign that it was dealer maintained vehicle. Actually, I will take that back. That just because it's a female owned car doesn't mean that it hasn't been beating on. I know plenty of females in my life who are crazy drivers who drive their cars like it was stolen. So just because it was a female owned car doesn't mean that it was taken care of. So what I'm doing now is getting ready to head out to a shop, meet up with my friend Stan, and get to work. I've been just collecting a lot of stuff over the past couple days. I got a brand new Mishimoto oil cooler from CZeroMedia.com because you absolutely do not want to be reusing the oil cooler that came off of a car that blew up, because the oil cooler a lot of times has debris in it. I've seen people build their engines after a engine failure without changing the oil cooler, only to start it up after 100 miles the engine has run out again because there's all these metal debris and shavings kind of embedded inside the oil cooler. It's like swapping an engine and reusing the same oil filter. But make sure you do not do that. Couple things I'm grabbing here. Of course, I have Amsoil all over the place. As a built Evo 8 owner, I go through these a lot. I only run Amsoil in my Evo. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab 5 quarts of this. That should be enough. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and grab some distilled water and pure coolant instead of the 50-50. Now I'm gonna grab this oil, which is 1040. I think you can run 1030. A lot of guys run 1030, 5W30 for their Evo 10s, Evo 8s. For my built Evo though, Evo 8, I've usually run 1040 simply because I don't really daily drive it. I never start it up in the winter time, and it's just a weekend fun car, right? So that's enough of me talking. I'm gonna go ahead and get the trailer ready and get going. Oh, I almost forgot. Gotta put that CZero sticker on the car. It's cut like it was supposed to be here in the first place. Alright guys, so the trailer is hooked up and we're good to go. Alright guys, got my tow mirrors out and I am on the way during rush hour. Now you have noticed already, I am taking the car up on the trailer with the engine in the back, in the bed, because I have lift access. I'm gonna bring it to the shop and walk on the Evo there, because unlike 4G63, Evo 8s, 9s, and anything before that where you can pull the motor out from the top of the car, it's a little more complicated to get 4B11 out of the engine bay. If you were to remove the engine from the hood from above, a lot of times you have to remove the head off the engine just to get the clearance to allow you to pop it out from the top. So what a lot of people do with Evo 10s, at least from what I have heard so far, is drop the subframe and go from under the car, which is a lot easier and faster. And for that reason, to get that lift access, because I really don't want to be doing this on jack stands at my house in my garage, I'm gonna be paying Stan like a normal labor rate, to be fair, but at the same time I'm gonna help out as much as I can. I'm really gonna be there to film and show you guys how an Evo 10 engine comes out, how it goes back in. I'm sure I'll be learning a single or two from this episode, and if you get something out of it, that's great. That's the purpose of these videos I'm filming, right? All right, now I'm with Stan. You guys remember him from last time.
We're gonna be tearing it apart, put a new motor in it, see how fast we can do it this time.
The Evo is up on the lift, just slightly lifted up.
So I'll probably just start taking off the plastics, check out the intercooler piping, the stock airbox, undo some PCV hoses, unconnect the harness clips, you know, things for like the coil packs, things like that. The other engine doesn't have a
The other one, no.
No, okay.
No, we need to swap. The other one doesn't really have anything.
So what I'll do is I'm gonna pull the wiring harness with the engine. So we'll just undo it from the ECU, that way it all stays connected.
Right.
One side of the car, we'll pull it off, and then we'll swap it onto the new motor. And
I see.
All we have to do is put it in and plug it in.
It's just like side by side, swap everything over. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Easy.
Yeah. That'd be a good overview of a 4B11 engine.
Swap over the valve cover depending on the year on the new motor.
What do you want me to do? I don't like sitting here and doing nothing, honestly. So, airbox, easy stuff.
Yeah, let me just collect some things.
Yeah. If you don't have a lift like this, right? How would you pull the motor out?
If you don't have a lift, the best way is to probably do it from the top. That's what I did.
So you can do it from the top.
You can. It's very inconvenient. I had to pull the AC condenser and the radiator, the front bumper, obviously the crash bar, all that stuff had to come out because I pulled it with the trans T-case and motor. I had to rotate it and slide it out.
You have to rotate it in the bay and then slide it out forwards?
Yeah, it won't all come out. With a hoist, or at least maybe if you can jack it up high enough, you have the ability to actually lift the car up and drop the subframe and literally put the motor on a table and lift the car off of the motor. That's the way we do, you know.
Which is how we're doing it today?
That's how we're going to do it today. That's how you can do it. That's how GTRs get their motors pulled typically. It's just a much quicker process. Subarus, on the other hand, you pull it from the top way quicker.
All right, let's get to work. So what we're doing today is just kind of getting the small stuff off the car. Stan is working on getting some of these plastic tabs off. The under tray, we're gonna get the bumper off. We already took the wheels off. And I'm gonna start with the exhaust, I guess. Soak all the bolts with this the night before instead of using the WD-40. I essentially asked them if there's any resale value to these under trays. And they said not for GSRs. But the Evo 10 MR guys want to run under trays because there's a transmission cooler on this side, and without the under tray, the MR tend to overheat. If you have a MR, make sure to run the under tray so your transmission doesn't overheat.
Oh, the plastic piece. Little side note for anybody putting their bumpers back on. Under this tab right here. Once I can get this clip out, go under this flap right here. There's a wire right here that connects the fog lights. This connector right there connects the fog lights. In the bumper. Don't forget to plug it in.
That's weird. It's in the center there.
Yeah, it's hidden because there's a wire that runs through. The bumper's a little tricky. When you pull it off, it might feel like you're gonna break some stuff. It's actually on there pretty good. Don't be afraid to give it a little bit of extra strength.
Yeah, yanking on that.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
It almost doesn't want to come out. Make sure all the fasteners are out, but see, the clips in there are actually very strong. Yeah, they don't tend to break. So yeah, so don't be afraid to give it a little bit extra force.
Yeah, that's some beefy mount right there. So 2 bolts on the side, 4 up top, and then
there's clips underneath the headlights that come out. These slide in. There's brackets actually under the headlights that they slide into for perfect fitment.
Okay. You don't have to undo that, do you?
Nope, they come out, but just don't forget because you can miss when you unplug them.
I see.
Yep, and see, it's nice. The fog light harness is all one. There's just a one connector in the center. Some bumpers, when you pull them off, the fog lights are wired independently. So you gotta unplug the headlight or the fog light. It's kind of
usually, though.
In this car, it's all one piece. It's nice. It comes off.
Yeah. So while we have the bumper off, I'm gonna go ahead and get the headlight off on the driver's side because it is fogged up. For some reason, the passenger side is still clean, but the driver's side is extremely dull. So I'm gonna take this on, but how do you remove this stand?
Yeah.
Got one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt here, and there's one more bolt down here. All you need is 10, 11,
10,
12.
A 12, a 13, and a 14, and then once you get into some larger sizes, you get a 17, and then obviously a 22 for the lugs, unless they're aftermarket.
Yeah. That's all you need for these Evos. Just make sure when you remove this one, pop it off.
It's hard to get with your fingers. Use a screwdriver, give it a little bit of force, pops it right out.
Man, all these little tips and tricks.
Try putting the bolt back in the place where you pulled it out. That way you don't have to use as many bags. Maybe smaller items, maybe they have only 2 bolts. You just put them back in their place, and that way when you go to reinstall the part, bolts are already there and you won't lose them.
As for the bags, we got these Ziploc bags, the simple ones you can get at the grocery store, and we are writing them down. Bumper, headlight bag, to keep things organized. So far we got the bumper off, under tray off, lower intercooler piping off, upper intercooler piping, airbox stock.
So what we're trying to do today is get all the, I don't know, miscellaneous stuff, should I say, off the engine. So tomorrow when I'm coming back into the shop, we can just get the motor mounts off and drop the motor. Alright, so we're at a point where we can start draining the fluids out of the car. We're gonna see what the oil looks like.
Ready?
Ready.
I notice it more in the oil filter. That's all.
Right. I'll probably crack that open eventually. I mean, there's oil in it. It wasn't like 2 drips of oil.
Wow, I totally forgot that. Wow, that's nice and hidden too. In the mount? Wow.
Oh yeah, and the rubber mount itself. Usually it pulls out of here.
Apparently it comes out of both.
Oh yeah, it's gonna come out of the bowl for sure. That's how you dump this. That was real professional there.
This bitch.
As I couldn't taste.
Terrible. And now I need to go home and shower before I go anywhere tonight. Well, like, what is it? How are you supposed to do it?
I usually pull the whole thing out like that, like what you did.
I'm gonna assume that what they want you to do is drain most of it through the bottom, and then when it gets to a certain point, open the cap.
Yeah. The funnel kind of kicked it up in the air.
This piece, that's the front motor mount with the T-shaped bar
The front trans mount.
trans mount. So that's up here,
Yep.
right? One bolt going across, straight back.
This motor only has one mount, and then
the trans mount.
The trans has a mount in the front, a mount in the back, and a mount on the side.
Oh, so all the weight's kind of supported by the trans.
But it's all bolted to the trans.
Ah,
One of the more important components to, let's say, either a trans job or an engine removal is when you remove this plug, this little inspection cover. It gives you access to the clutch. This uses a pull style clutch, and in order to be able to separate the trans from the engine, you have to get in there with a flathead screwdriver and pretty much push down on the locking collar and rotate the screwdriver, usually a secondary screwdriver, to unclip the throwout bearing from the pressure plate. If you don't do that, you're gonna have a hard time separating the trans from the motor. The best time to do that is when you have access underneath. Obviously, when you put it back together, a lot of people use factory ones, but I've run into issues with factory ones either breaking or not locking for some odd reason. The best alternative solution is getting an ACT mono lock. It's I want to say $89. It's really nice. It's a one solid piece, and you shouldn't really have any issues with it.
Alright guys, and this is end of episode 1, day 1, because it is Friday night and we're tired. We had a walking day, but tomorrow, Saturday, we're gonna have a full day to work on the car, so we're gonna pull the motor out and try to put the motor back in the car. What happened today is
We started out by removing the under panels, the bumper, removed the intercooler pipings, and then went into removing the transmission mount.
so a lot of heavy lifting, should I say, will be done tomorrow. So I will see you in tomorrow's. Oh, actually, you know what? There's gonna be another episode before tomorrow's video, because I'm gonna take the driver's side headlight home and show you how to clean it up so that it's nice and shiny again. I'll probably post that video next before I post the motor pull out day 2 video. Thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.